Now that new quad-core and hexa-core MacBook Pro models are here, I've been eager to see how they pair up with an AMD Vega 64 powered eGPU setup. Specifically, I wanted to see how such a setup compares with the recently released Blackmagic eGPU. Using the Razer Core X, an enclosure that I rated as the best overall external graphics chassis for the Mac, I ran a variety of benchmark tests with both a 13 and 15-inch 2018 MacBook Pro. What did I learn? Watch the video for the details. Before we begin, I just want to say that if you girls and guys appreciate eGPU coverage here on 9 to 5 Mac, please leave me a thumbs up so that I can know, and also subscribe and click that little bell icon so you'll be notified when I post more videos. Thank you. So after testing and then testing some more, there are some main takeaways to be shared here. First and foremost, there are only two reasons why you might seriously consider the Blackmagic eGPU over something like the Razer Core X or a similar enclosure like the Sonnet eGraphics breakaway box. Number one is if you have an environment that must remain as quiet as possible. If this is the case, then there is no other eGPU on the market that can compete with the Blackmagic chassis in this regard. It's super quiet. I talked about that in the full review, but again, just when comparing these guys side by side, it's impressively quiet. The second reason is this: you wish to connect your LG ultra-fine 5K display to external graphics via Thunderbolt 3. So if you own that LG display and you wish to drive it using external graphics, then this may be something you seriously consider, the Blackmagic chassis. Now, unless you meet at least one of those two aforementioned scenarios, then you should probably go elsewhere. You should probably go the custom route and choose a chassis like the Razer Core X, because it provides you with flexibility that comes from being able to choose your own graphics card. Now, granted, you can only choose a few AMD cards because not every graphics card is supported in macOS natively, but you still get that selection and you still have the ability to upgrade in the future, whereas there are no upgrades with the Blackmagic chassis, and that is one of the main reasons why it's hard to recommend for Mac users. If you select a high-end graphics card like the RX Vega 64, its performance is going to nearly double the performance of the RX 580 equipped Blackmagic eGPU. And that's one of the things that I'm going to show you in this video. My second takeaway from our testing is this: external GPUs are equalizers when it comes to graphics performance. For example, the 13-inch MacBook Pro may be inferior to the discrete graphics capability included with 15-inch models, but that all changes when you throw an eGPU into the mix. As you can see from our results, an eGPU puts the 13-inch base model 2018 MacBook Pro on even ground from a graphics perspective with the souped-up 15-inch MacBook Pro. For that matter, even my 2017 entry-level MacBook Pro performs comparably to the high-end 15-inch 2018 model, while both are using an eGPU. Of course, this is for graphics performance only, not CPU power. If your primary application is gaming or other graphics intensive work, then an eGPU can go a long way towards improving your performance, especially in a laptop form factor where things like CPU throttling may come into play. For all of my testing, I ran both machines in closed display mode while connected to the eGPU and external monitor running at 4K resolution, scaled to 1080p pixel doubled retina. The first test that I ran were Unigine Valley and a Unigine Heaven comparison. Settings for Heaven are as follows: quality ultra, resolution 1080p, tessellation moderate, and anti-aliasing at 2x. Settings for Valley were the same, minus the tessellation. As you can see, the Vega 64 equipped Razer Core X handily outperforms the 580 inside the Blackmagic eGPU on both machines, coming close to double the frames per second. Also notice how close the 13 and 15-inch machines compare in frames per second for each test. The second test involved a Geekbench 4 Metal Compute comparison. In this test, you can see that the 13 and 15-inch MacBook Pro perform the same while using the Blackmagic eGPU. When driven by the Razer Core X, there is a little bit more separation between the two machines, but not much. This again shows how an eGPU can help level out graphics performance between these two machines. It also again reiterates how much better the Vega 64 is than the RX 580. Next, I ran an OpenCL benchmark using Luxmark. Again, a similar picture is painted. 13 and 15-inch models put forth like performance performances when using the same eGPU, but the Vega 64 graphics are far and away more capable than what's found inside the Blackmagic eGPU. Lastly, I ran a benchmark test using the metal-powered F1 2017 game available on the Mac App Store. When configuring the game to use ultra-high settings at 1080p with full anti-aliasing, frames per second trended close to 60 frames per second when using the Razer Core X, while staying close to 40 frames per second with the Blackmagic eGPU. 40 frames per second is still playable, but obviously 60 frames per second and higher is what most gamers are shooting for. So what can we conclude from all this? Well, number one, as we discussed, it's probably going to be a better investment if you buy an eGPU chassis that can be upgraded, such as the Razer Core X or the Sonnet eGraphics breakaway box. The RX 580, while certainly better than any of the built-in GPUs on the MacBook Pro, is definitely inferior when it comes to performance compared to something like the Vega 64. Again, unless you absolutely need to maintain a quiet environment or you need to connect an LG 5K ultrafine display to external graphics, then you'd be better off buying an upgradable graphics chassis. And then finally, we can conclude that yes, external graphics make a big difference when it comes to graphics performance on the MacBook Pro. It doesn't matter if you have a 13-inch model or a 15-inch model, they're both going to benefit almost equally from a pure graphics performance perspective. So what do you guys think? Would you consider investing in an eGPU setup for your Mac? And do you prefer Blackmagic's solution, or would you go with something that you can upgrade? Let me know down below in the comment section, and also don't forget to thumbs up this video and subscribe for more coverage just like this. This is Jeff with 9 to 5 Mac.